So you've worked for MNCs throughout your career. So I'm sure the kind of candidates you get, unko thoda bahut exposure hoga about how to appear in an interview.
Of course.
But there's a huge majority of people जिनको business communication के तौर तरीके नहीं पता, और जिसमें बहुत बड़ा factor है how to appear, like what to wear, how to dress up for an interview. अगेन इसमें कुछ लोग बोलेंगे अब तो वो कॉर्पोरेट दौर चला गया, अब तो हम शॉर्ट्स में बिलियनर हैं. आई मीन लाइक उनकी बात नहीं कर रहा, बट ट्रेडिशनल जो है, यू नो, पीपल डोंट रियलाइज what's the perfect appearance, or like a more suitable appearance in your opinion.
I think it depends upon the nature of the industry. Like,
Okay.
for starters, you should know your audience.
Sure.
I mean, you've done stand-up. You know your audience,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes you're going and doing stand-up for under 15.
Yeah.
Sometimes you only have adults. Like,
Yeah.
the kind of content that you would create would be very different for both, right?
Sure.
So in an interview, exactly the same. You need to know your audience. You need to research the company, and I think that is one thing that even that we're not investing time in. Like I said, हम lazy approach है candidates की हो जाती है कभी कभी, which you should overcome, which is that research the company, know their culture, and know their value system, know their mission and purpose, and that will totally tell you, okay, how should I appear in the interview. So yeah, if you're appearing in a tech startup interview, most probably, I'm not saying that this is the startup culture, it's just an example. If you're appearing for an interview with a consultancy firm, consultants dress a particular way because that's a norm, like,
Yeah.
but if you work at L'Oreal, you wear smart casual. Bankers are known to wear suits, like, so but उनका कल्चर है, उनका एक पर्पस है, उनका एक क्लाइंट सर्विसिंग अप्रोच है. You must research, know your audience. I would say that. So there is no perfect answer to this. I mean to say I wear jeans to work, I've come here looking like this, like, but I think you just need to know where are you appearing, what is your audience. You can really gauge a lot about your audience by just looking at the company website. I mean to
Yeah.
say they have enough pictures of their employees floating around. I mean, there's your cue how to dress. It's as
Yeah.
simple as that.
Yeah.
Use these cues. Be smart. Like, be smart.
And like, so I've done this questionnaire on my Instagram some time ago. उसमें मैंने ये चीज़ें पूछी थी. So like कि लोगों को क्या क्या problems आती हैं. So one of the problems they said they face is because a lot of, खास तौर पे मर्द हजरात, they're coming from all boys school, all boys college, तो उनका इतना female interaction होता ही नहीं है. और ऐसी भी situations हुई हैं कि 3 ख़वातीन इंटरव्यू ले रही, अब वो बंदा घबरा रहा है, राइट? अब अगेन उस पर कंपनी का तो कोई कसूर नहीं है, ही शुड बी लाइक वेल प्रिपेयर्ड. बट व्हाट आर दोज ट्रेड्स, खास तौर पे कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल की अगर हम बात करें, अ पर्सन कैन बी लाइक अ परफेक्ट कैंडिडेट ऑन पेपर, बट लाइक अगर उसकी सेल्स की जॉब है या कंसल्टेंसी की जॉब है और वो आई कॉन्टैक्ट ही नहीं मेंटेन कर पा रहा, या वो इधर उधर देख रहा है, या उसकी इनन्सिएशंस क्लियर नहीं है, या वो कर रहा है, या फिर उसका पोस्चर सही नहीं है, या वो बड़ा लेड बैक है, what things are you looking for in that non-verbal communication?
Good question. I
I've
think
done my homework.
yeah, for sure. I'll answer it two ways, because I think that you said not demystify HR. So I will also want to do that. I think जब एक candidate एक interview के लिए आया, मैं अभी यहाँ पे podcast के लिए आ रहा, I'm nervous, but it's your job to make me comfortable to be able to talk to you more openly, to give you answers that are truly me, as opposed to say what is politically correct, right? I think recruitment is very similar like that. Like, it is the job of a recruiter to make a person feel comfortable and confident, right? So पहले तो I would say कि take the किसी को advice कर दूँ मैं, I take that responsibility that if somebody is nervous, my job is to ensure that they're not nervous even before I start interviewing them. I think that is the job of the company, right? The same favor we would ask from you or anybody else, right? As far as a candidate, like say for example कि मैं बहुत अच्छी recruiter हूँ और मैं welcoming भी हूँ, मैं intimidating भी नहीं हूँ, आप stutter कर रहे थे, मैंने आपको पानी भी पिला दिया, आपके बच्चों का हाल भी पूछ लिया, things are normal, but you still like, you're not in your zone. In that case, I would say the candidate needs more preparation. It's only indicative of the fact that you were not prepared for the experience that you were about to have.
Yeah.
So I think when you go prepared, for any interview, or you go prepared for anything in your life for that
Yeah.
matter, you have that confidence to say, I can. Like, so I think what we need to do is that my advice would be that be prepared. Like, and how do you get prepared? Now, that's a good question also, which I'll ask myself and I'll answer myself. ठीक है? So, how do you get prepared is like I said, कि बहुत लोग होते हैं वो आपके पास आते हैं और उनको आपकी कंपनी के ब्रांड्स भी नहीं पता होते. Like, they don't know. Like, what you sell, and they're shocked to know कि अच्छा ये आपका है. They're confusing you with a competitor, etc., right? I've done that in my internship interview.
Okay.
I told one leading FMCG that I love this brand which belonged to another FMCG, right? Like,
Wow.
it was poor homework. Do your homework right. Like, so know your company.
Website chart लो पूरी.
हाँ for sure. Website क्या, अब तो वेबसाइट का ज़माना भी खत्म. उनका इंस्टाग्राम देखो, उनके
Yeah.
रिक्रूटर की लिंक्डइन देखो भाई. Like, पता होना चाहिए who you getting interviewed by. Do your homework. I'm very fortunate that a lot of people I interview, they've already seen my LinkedIn profile, etc. They're great at making conversation with me even before I make conversation with them. Those are the best kind of candidates because they've done their homework. Doing your homework prepares you well, which makes you less anxious in an interview, right? That is one. There's another advice I learned at NAST, which is probably something I think was the best advice I got. You should know your elevator speech because any interview, 90% of the time, I would say, will start with, so tell me about yourself, take me over your resume. Like, very introductory level question hoega,
Yeah.
right? If you can master that pitch, you can actually land the conversation at a point where the interviewer will ask you a question that you've already prepared for. So, for example, you ask me, okay, Sana, tell me about yourself. मैं आपको अपनी पूरी history सुना देती हूँ कि मैं कितनी great हूँ. लेकिन मैं आखिर में कहती हूँ, I love a game of tennis. Like, naturally, I'm just giving you an idea, 60-50%, what would you ask? Your next question would be what?
Who's your favorite player?
Who's your favorite player?
Roger Federer.
Like,
And then, like,
then you will,
Serena
what do you
Williams.
like about Roger? Like, or you'd say, okay, why do you like tennis? Like, and you will start talking about your passion. And I think this was one of the best things we were taught in university. Like, that if you have the right elevator pitch and you know your passions and you format it correctly, you can direct the conversation that your recruiter or interviewer is taking you into. And this is no manipulation, to be very honest, because you've given them an opening, an access to
Yeah.
talk to you more personally, as opposed to stick to a list of questions कि मैं यही पूछूंगा.
Robotic नहीं होना
robotic
चाहिए.
नहीं होएगा, right? And when जब एक question answer round एक conversation बन जाता है, तो you are able to assess the person better. The person is able to talk to you more freely and able to assess you better as well.
Very comfort
So
level बन जाता
the
है.
overall experience is rich for both the candidate and the recruiter. Like, so I think do your research, have your elevator pitch, know how you want to format and structure it. So you do end up in a way that you give the recruiter a little bit of insight on what they can ask you next in order to gauge whatever they need to gauge. They will do that part.
Yeah.
But at least you've given them an access on doing it in a way where you have strengths. Do you get?
So I used to do.
I hope it helped you.
So
Not
I used
sure.
to do this one thing. So I have you seen there's something about Mary?
No.
Cameron Diaz ki.
I've seen it.
a
Yeah,
very
it's a
famous
movie. Yeah.
So usme, if you remember, Bollywood also copied it, of course. तो उसमें जो मैट डिलन होता है who's a private detective, उसको Ben Stiller हायर करता है कि she is my high school crush and you need to spy on her and tell me what she likes. So he ends up having a crush on her,
yeah.
and he realizes कि उसको architects पसंद है, तो वो उसके सामने से ही अपनी गाड़ी का बूट खोलता है तो बहुत सारे blueprints गिर रहे होते हैं. So like वो एक conversation starter बना लेता है. So
Yeah.
I would so this one time I did this back in Dubai. I looked up my possible recruiter because मैं LinkedIn पे देख लिया था. I found out about their interest और फिर मैंने बोला कि हाँ मुझे भी ये चीज़ें पसंद हैं. So like they were like, oh really, you like these things? Obviously उस वक्त stalking culture इतना common नहीं था because of Instagram. It wasn't that common. I'm talking 2014. It was there but like not to that degree. So उससे मुझे फ़ायदा ये हुआ था कि I knew their interest level कहाँ है, and then we were able to form a friendship.
Yeah, and it has to be authentic. I'm not saying use it in order to manipulate the
Yeah.
बेचारा recruiter also कि वो क्या हो.
हाँ,
Because I know
कि मुझे पता
recruiters
है,
are really smart.
I know what you did last summer. You don't want to do that, right?
So you have to be authentic,
Yeah.
but not match their interests. I would just say कि know yourself better. present yourself better. You're a brand, right? Like I mean, shuru mein bhi kaha ki you are not don't be a commodity, be a product. Be a brand that people want to buy. Like you know, as weird as it may sound, but I hope you get the drift. So it is very important that you're able to explain yourself better, like you know, your interests better, so that the other person naturally has an access to you to get to know you better, right? 30 minutes hote hain, 45 minutes ho jayenge, like 1 ghanta ho jayega. You have your whole life story to tell. So use it wisely.
अगर आपने क्लिप एंजॉय किया तो पूरी वीडियो देखने के लिए कमेंट पे दिए गए लिंक पे क्लिक कीजिए और मेरे मेन चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना नहीं भूलिएगा ताकि आपको वक्त के साथ साथ अपडेट्स मिलती रहे. बहुत शुक्रिया.